Everyone, welcome back to our Maker of the Week series. My name is D'Angelo. I work marketing here at Mainstream. It is my pleasure to bring another awesome innovator and creator to the stage, someone who's doing awesome work in the community. And so I would love to introduce Ashley Varner to the stage. Ashley, thank you so much for being here. Can you share with us a little bit about you, a little bit about your background as we get started?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first off, thank you, D'Angelo, for having me. I'm really honored and flattered, that you guys wanted to interview me, and I really love what you guys are doing. So, hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Varner-Warren. I'm from South Bend, Indiana. I am a stay-at-home mother, assigned model, which I recently got back into modeling since giving birth to my daughter last year. And this past January, I became a partner in Michiana Modeling Workshop as a model coach. And even though I'm currently not practicing, I am also a licensed mental health therapist. So I try to wear a lot of different hats.
Wow, that's awesome. And congratulations on being a newly recent parent.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, she keeps me busy, but it's been a lot of fun.
I bet. Well, I know some of your background, like you mentioned, is in clinical mental health, and I'm very curious to hear about the overlap of your mental health um, pursuits as well as modeling, because I bet there's a lot of overlap between those things when it comes to mentorship. Can you talk a little bit with us about how does mental health counseling come into play in your work as a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think through getting my master's in mental health counseling, I think it has definitely helped me with the mentorship that I've started working with models because I believe that I'm able to address all of the pressures faced by models to be and look perfect, and all of that can kind of lead to a number of mental health issues, like eating disorders, depression, anxiety. And on top of that, there's not a lot of assistance available in the industry for addressing those. So I'm, so thankful that I was able to, get education in that field. Because really I didn't start modeling until after I got my master's. So it was kind of a cool transition to where, I was able to really study in that field. And then I felt like that really prepared me for when I started modeling.
How was that transition from your master's degree into modeling? You said you did it after your master's degree. So, in terms of timeline here, did you become a model before you became a therapist, or did you do that kind of simultaneously?
I became a model essentially before I became a licensed therapist, yes. Because I've always had interest in modeling growing up. But I've always been pretty busy with I also played Division 1 basketball. So, sports and all that took up a lot of my time as well. And it just didn't seem like the right moment to really fully get into modeling. And so when I, was completing my master's, that was something where I'm pretty big on like when I start something, I want to finish it. And not leave it undone. So I kind of gave myself the timeline of, as soon as I complete my master's, now that I have that achievement done, then I can really kind of just step out and see what happens with, modeling, how I can make this a career. And that way I've always, I have my degree to fall back on in a sense.
Right. No, that makes sense. I want to go back to something you said about there's not a lot of support to address, perhaps some mental health concerns or emotional concerns that comes in the modeling industry. I
Right.
want to ask you, what are some of the most frequent concerns that you have seen as a mentor to aspiring models, or maybe that you have witnessed with your own eyes as well in your own pursuits? Some of the most frequent concerns that you address.
Yeah, absolutely. I know as far as from a mentor standpoint, a lot of the like concerns I feel like that we've seen are just kind of models not knowing where to start. As far as like how to get into this industry, how to be fully prepared, what to look out for. There's certain things such as like taking digital photos, what
Mm,
are the right photos to submit to agencies, what to be prepared for when looking for an agency, just to make sure that it is, essentially the right fit for you. Because, even though an agency may want to sign you as a model, it may not be the best fit per se. So, I've always seen those types of concerns, as well as, not getting scammed. And so really we address all those things, which is really awesome.
it's interesting to hear you say, even from smaller cities, like there's still opportunity for people to find their way into the modeling industry and the modeling world. Because
Hmm.
I do know that that's kind of perhaps a misconception that people have, that you have to, start out in one of the bigger cities.
Hmm.
So in your
Now,
opinion, oh, go ahead.
oh no, you're fine. But now don't get me wrong. So if you do live in these bigger cities, of course it is beneficial because, there's a lot more opportunity as far as castings and, things to be a part of. But being in a smaller city, you just have to be a little bit more creative on how you get noticed. And there are a lot of agencies that will place you in these bigger markets, for modeling. And in that sense, that helps you overall just kind of be able to travel to different places and be able to book different jobs.
Right. I hear what you're
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah.
So would you say that opportunities have opened up more in recent years? Um, the timeline of opportunities, I know there's a lot of conception. We talked about a little bit of, where you are, where you've been, what you look like. Do you think as society has evolved, as maybe beauty standards have evolved a little bit, there's more opportunities for people to find their way in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the modeling industry is definitely, trying to improve as far as being more inclusive with everyone. And one of the things I know we try to stress with our workshop is that there are so many different markets in the modeling industry that, if you aren't 6 feet tall, there are other avenues that you can, go into that you can be just as successful, and may even love more than opposed to, being a fashion runway model. So yeah, I definitely see it evolving, and I think a lot of times too, people just have to um, work and really go after it too. None of these jobs are going to fall in your lap.
Mm,
And I think that's one of the things I love about modeling too, because I feel like even though I am signed, I'm non-exclusive. So meaning that I can also find, my own work, which I love because I love networking. I love meeting new people. And a lot of jobs that I've booked have been solely based off of networking. And so, in that sense, it's been really cool to be able to, like I said, meet new people and kind of get, just other jobs that maybe a agency wouldn't be able to, give me.
right. I see how that would provide you the flexibility to position yourself in the way that you would want and pursue avenues that you want specifically. So that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, with the GenMakers community, we're very focused on, highlighting what community looks like in different realms, in different industries, and, circling back again to the work that you're doing and what you said about being that support for models in the modeling industry. I want to ask you, what does community look like amongst models in general? I know you mentioned that there's not a ton of help, and I know that's kind of what inspired you a little bit to go into the Michiana Modeling Workshop. But on
Yeah.
a general level, like, how do models typically form community? What does that look like, especially in terms of empowerment? Is there that type of interaction between people in the field? Um, how does all of that come together?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really an amazing community. Like a lot of my close friends are from people that I've met at castings or models that I've worked with. And really I feel like it's honestly a sisterhood. even though it is a competitive industry, I think we all at the end of the day understand how hard it can be to get in this industry and start off and be successful. So there are, also there are unfortunately a lot of people who try to take advantage of models as well. So I think in that sense, I've met a lot of amazing people who, like I said, really support and empower each other, because I think once you start modeling, you kind of see how it can affect you in a sense if you're not getting booked, or maybe if someone says something as far as like critiques on your body image. All those things can definitely take a toll at the end of the day. But no, it's honestly a sisterhood, and almost kind of like we know that we are all that we have.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that there's that level of camaraderie, because I do understand that there's a lot of competition sometimes involved with modeling, but
Hmm.
it's great to hear that there's that sisterhood aspect, and, that models can, lean on each other in ways like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's almost kind of, obviously there's and what we try to teach, the models that come with to learn from us as well, is that yeah, of course you want to be able to book this job, and you want to be able to be competitive in a sense that you want to do your best and kind of beat out the next model, but at the same time you have to have this mindset of what is for you is for you. And
Mm,
that's something we teach too, because there are so many opportunities and, like I said, markets and jobs. And it's almost I know for me, from my time modeling, it's almost come to a point where if I get a no, then I'm like, okay, let me go on to the next casting, let me go on to the next job opportunity. Not that it doesn't suck at sometimes, like where you're like, oh, I wish I would have really booked that job. But there's so many different opportunities out there that you can't even, think about that. You just go on to the next one.
I love that perspective of what is for you is for you. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a very healthy mindset to have, in approaching competitive landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
And it also reminds me of the concept between being the best versus being your best. Because
Yes,
I
yes.
feel like when you're focused on being the best, that's always in comparison to everyone else around you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're focused on being your best, you're only really in competition with yourself. Now, of course, we understand, on a technical level, you are competing with other people,
Right.
but the emphasis on what am I doing as an individual, and tied with what you're saying, like what is for me is for me. I think that's a very healthy approach.
Absolutely, because I mean, if you think about it, when you try to be the best, there's always going to be someone a step ahead of you. So like you said, just kind of focusing on being your best and improving things that you feel like you can improve on. Honestly, that's the only way I feel like you can be successful in this industry, because especially now with social media, there's a lot of opportunities to compare yourself to other people in general.
Right.
And so yeah, just kind of focusing on what can I do myself to improve.
I like that.
Mhm.
So with the Michiana Modeling Workshop, what age ranges do you guys work with? Is it all manners of categories? Like, do you work with, younger girls who are starting out, and, perhaps women who have been in the industry for a little bit longer? What does that spread look like?
Yeah, so we actually with our model development program, we take current models and aspiring models. So even models that have been modeling for, 5, 10 years, and then ones that have, are just starting, like literally starting from scratch. And we also have all ages, all genders, um, because I feel like we really tried to decide what was a good age range for this. But there are so many younger models too that are interested in this industry, and parents that, don't really know where to start. And so we kind of opened the door to all of that. So we have someone as young as 5 years old that has attended our workshops, and then someone 32.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For the different groups and the different avenues that people are pursuing with your workshops, is it more of a group oriented thing? Do you guys have one-on-one time? What does the spread of that mentorship look like?
Yeah, so myself and another model that is partnering with me with the Michiana Modeling Workshop. Her name is Alex Groves. She has actually been doing coaching for a few years, and so it's been really cool that we've been able to kind of partner up and make this something really special and big. But so generally, what we started off doing was having more of a program where it's a group setting. So we initially do 6 workshops once a month, and we go over various different topics. So usually in the beginning, we talk about different markets in the modeling industry, just so that the models are aware of, what they would be interested in going into. Because some of the models really weren't into runway, and other ones kind of wanted to do more like sports, fitness, lifestyle type modeling as well. So just kind of explaining what all of that is to them. And then we would go into, posing, runway. And also, what I love too is just, how we were talking about mental health. We have a workshop that focuses on self love and confidence, because that's honestly just as important as the, posing and runway lessons that we provide as well. We also have, working with different photographers and designers, having them be aware of what that interaction looks like. And another one we offer, which actually starts April 9th, our next workshop is on social media and networking.
It sounds like you guys cover a wide spread of topics and values when it comes to that, and I think that's great that it's so inclusive and so diverse, and that the people that, work alongside you and who attend these workshops can have access to all of those resources.
Yes, and that's one of the things that we really wanted to stress too, because yes, we could absolutely do a runway and posing class each month to get them practice, but what are some of the things that we can teach them that, they're really not going to come across until they actually start modeling, and how can we prepare them for that? Because one of the things that I think me and Alex, who does the workshop with me, one of the things that we discussed in starting this is that, we didn't really have a lot of guidance starting out. So a lot of the things that we learned, it was just learned as we would go. So, there's been bookings that or jobs that, oh, I know I could have booked if I would have done this differently, or if I just would have known. And, even like a quick story, one of the agencies that I signed with, I actually was given advice early on to lie about my age. And
Mm.
so, once the agency found out, it was one of those things where it's, it kind of affects that relationship a little bit because you weren't honest in the beginning. But again, getting advice, not really knowing, what's the best way to navigate this. So that's really what we're trying to do, is to cover all aspects so that no matter what is placed in front of them, that they're going to at least be prepared.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's great that you and your team are using your personal experiences and the journey that you guys have been on to reach back and help other people,
Mhm.
navigate perhaps a little bit smoother or in more knowing ways. I think that's one of the most important things about community work, like using your own personal experience to help further along other people's potential. And it's awesome to hear that that's what you guys are doing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been definitely really rewarding.
So I also know that you've had a lot of wonderful highlights in your career. I know that you've walked the runway for New York Fashion Week, for LA Fashion Week, Miami Swim Week. I know that you've worked with a variety of designers and have also modeled for brands like Nike and Walgreens. And so I know that you have quite a variety of expertise in your field. Um, with that expertise, I also just want to know about proudest moments. specifically as it comes to being a mentor. We know we've heard a little bit about your proud moments as a model. I want to hear what has been something that's been really touching or really like fulfilling for you as you've worked as a mentor or as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably the proudest moments. And like I said, I started coaching in January, so I haven't been a model coach very long, but definitely the proudest moments have been just really all of the positive feedback and support that I've received as a model coach. And also that, Michiana Modeling Workshop has received as a program. It's been really like overwhelmingly just like amazing for parents to come up, to me after and say, our models really look up to you guys. I love that you guys, are really you could tell that you put a lot of time and thought into this to get them prepared and, making sure that we're covering all different, topics within this industry, like I said, so that they have a sense of, feeling that once they actually go into starting their career, that they're fully prepared. So definitely the positive feedback has been amazing, and we actually even had some of our models already walk in runway shows, which has been so cool to see. One model, she went on her very first casting call ever, and so that was awesome to kind of hear her experience. And one thing I do want to stress too is that even though we provide the modeling workshops once a month, we definitely encourage the models when they attend the workshops to reach out if they have any questions, or to share those first casting calls or runway shows. And so it's been really cool to kind of see her go through her very first casting call. And another model that went through the workshop went to her very first modeling agency meeting. So, kind of helping her prepare for that. And another model went to LA to walk in fashion shows. So just kind of seeing how, after they attend our workshops, them, really going for it and, taking that chance has been really like amazing to see. And I know I can't be more proud of them.
That's so exciting. I bet that's so exciting to see, people that you've worked with step forward and get more of those opportunities and launch out on their own. Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'm definitely excited to see how they, kind of progress as the remaining workshops come along.
for sure. Well, I want to take a moment and open the floor to the audience. If anyone in the audience has any questions,
So I just felt
hey,
like I
Mom.
could just like jump in, guys. This is really awesome. Um, Ashley, your story is amazing. And look, what is for you is for you. I really,
Absolutely.
really love that. I feel like too many people think in scarcity, and they need to understand and think in logic that everything is in abundance, right? Like, so there's so many
Hmm.
different opportunities and jobs and interests in modeling, as you spoke about earlier. So I love that mindset and the grassroots approach that you're taking. I guess a question that I have for you is, I mean, you sound like the Diddy of modeling. Like, so are you wrapping outside of just the workshops? Are you booking jobs for potential models? Are you potentially thinking about managing individuals or gyms that you're finding in your space?
So that is a great question. We've actually been approached a lot about starting an agency. Um, and what's great about me and Alex is that we are just overly prepared in like everything that we do with these workshops. And so for us, it just has to make sense in order for us to be able to go, towards that idea of just being able to book uh, our models with jobs and things like that. Because right now we're just solely focusing on, educating them, getting them prepared, just agency ready in order to book their jobs through castings that they will have to attend. That would be amazing, once this continues to grow for us to get to that point, because I think I think we would be great at doing that. What we have done so far is that when people have, informed us of castings or fashion shows, especially in the city of South Bend, we've kind of been passing along that information to our models, but solely just based on for them to get more of the experience, the experience with the cast, like attending the casting calls, having to walk in front of designers in order for them to pick them for their fashion shows. So that's kind of what we've been focusing on right now. But let me tell you, I can't tell you how many times we've been approached and said, well, you guys should start an agency. Like, why haven't you guys started that? So it's definitely something that we're entertaining in the future.
I imagine. I mean, you're literally developing the future of modeling, and I imagine it's like insider trading. Like if you know a stock is gonna pop, right? It makes sense.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
no, that's exciting for you guys.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, knowing or being able to model for, as long as I have, I want to make sure if it gets to that point where we, develop an agency that, we do it correctly and it makes sense and we're able to, protect our models and things
Hmm.
like that too. So,
Yeah, trust factor. So
yeah.
I guess my next question to you, like, I heard you say that you was a stay-at-home mom as well.
Yes.
So what does a typical day of work look like for you? Or like, it sounds like you have, your tentacles everywhere, right? So like, what does work look like for you now post-COVID and, with the modeling career and the workshop?
Well, absolutely. Well, usually the sound around my house is a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So you can definitely hear that all day long. Um, and Baby Shark. That's a popular
I love
show.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, that's a great question. Yes, I am a stay-at-home mother. But what's been amazing is that doing everything kind of remote as far as building this workshop and the fact that we've only been providing it once a month has been really helpful for me being a stay-at-home mother and not obviously leaving the house every day in
Mhm.
order to do that. But along with that, modeling now, the jobs that I book, I'm a little bit more picky in a sense. I want to choose, the jobs that I accept, wisely, especially because, I have my daughter and just making sure that she's good. But a lot of it is just really working remote, talking to, my partner, Alex, with the workshop like 20 times a day, just making sure that, we are on top of everything. We, with our workshops, what we're doing was we're actually providing a fashion show for the models who have been attending all of the workshops thus far in order to kind of just, kind of like showcase what they've learned. And so we've been really back and forth, just trying to make that like perfect. And we're, are so excited about that. But a lot of it has, definitely been juggling different things at the same time. But my daughter, Sienna, she makes it so much fun.
I love it. Superwoman. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, really, really super win for sure.
So what are the effects of like a boutique agency over a larger agency? Could you kind of give us an example? I'm pretty sure throughout your career you've probably experienced both.
Mm-hmm. So you said just the differences of each one?
Yeah, like how could that affect the career on maybe even a more established model versus a younger model?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with the boutique agencies, what I like too is that because they aren't well known, usually in a sense that means that they don't have a lot of models on their roster, which can be a plus for you if signing with a boutique agency because um, it has agents be able to really focus on you and getting those jobs. A lot of times with the bigger agencies, they already have their set models that they are focused on. So it could be a little bit more difficult, in a sense, getting work with a bigger agency. But I've seen both. And really at the end of the day, it's just kind of figuring out what works best for you. Um, if
Gotcha.
if you like having, an agent that is in contact with you all the time and you feel like, keeps you in the loop and you work better with that, then obviously like a boutique agency would, I think benefit you a lot more. Now, you said with the younger and more established models,
Absolutely. So, like,
right?
even in
Yeah.
acting, we were talking about that the other day, where we're starting to see more of the older actors going into modeling and commercial roles, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, how does that? I guess like how does that compare in career as well?
Yeah, well, and then I don't even know if I mentioned this earlier, but that's a misconception too, is that, you have to start at a really young age. And in a sense, I didn't start modeling until I was, 24 going on 25. So although it can help starting at a younger age, just because you kind of develop those skills a little bit earlier. However, with the different markets that I was talking about a little bit earlier, going into modeling at, an older age, um, they always say like 32 is like old in modeling, and it's not old in real life, but in modeling, yeah, they say that's a more mature age. But different markets like the commercial print modeling, there's so many people that start off modeling at that age and become really successful in booking a lot of jobs. Because of the print and commercial work, they look for a lot of, more so normal kind of people, as far as just those normal rules of like the Kohl's and Walmart, all those kind of different catalogs there. And so, yeah, I mean, really, whether you start off young or a little bit later, there's really a market for everyone.
Right, think in abundance. No, I totally agree. Ashley,
Yeah,
you are 100% a generation maker. Thank you
thank
for joining
you.
us.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the awesome questions.
Oh, for sure.
Wonderful. Yes. Well, Ashley, thank you so much again for joining us today. And thank you for also helping us close out our wonderful series with Women's History Month for the month of March, where we were really intentional about highlighting women in these professional fields are doing. And so we thank you for joining us for that.
Thank you so much. And can I add something else as far as like how people can, support and look out for us?
Of course.
Yeah. So if you, for you guys out there would like to support and kind of know what we're doing, you can follow us on our like social media outlets, our Facebook and Instagram at Michiana Modeling Workshop. It's Michiana Modeling Workshop. And like I mentioned earlier, we are hosting a finale fashion show for our participating models. The fashion show will be in August, and it's in the Midwest area. So if anyone is in that, in Indiana and would love to attend and support, you guys can follow us, and we'll definitely update more information, on the show as it comes, as well as when our next cycle of workshops will start too. So we're really excited about kind of starting that next cycle here, I believe in the summertime. And then also, I know, D'Angelo, one of your questions was the one-on-one modeling coaching as well. So myself and my partner Alex with the Michiana Modeling Workshop, we also offer one-on-one coaching for those who can't make the workshop scheduled dates. So if anyone is interested in that and want to learn a little bit more about that, they can find our contacts on our social media pages as well. And finally, because we are having our fashion show and different workshops, what we do also is we provide comp cards and portfolio images for our models, as well as, having them be able to work with other creatives in the area. So one of the things that, we're doing is, donations via our PayPal at Workshop. And the donations are always appreciated. And it's, they go towards the fashion show costs, future workshops, as far as those comp card expenses that, we provide for the models, location costs, and we're even looking at possibly sponsoring a model for the next workshop. We're trying to iron out the details of that, of just, models that want to attend the workshop but may not have the resources or funds to be able to do that. So we're hoping that we can, be able to provide that for them for the next cycle.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Yes. Make sure you tune into the social medias that Ashley shared and, stay up to date with the things that the workshop is doing if you're interested, and her donation portal too, to support the wonderful work that they're doing over there. And also make sure you plug and tune into the GenMakers community as well for more awesome conversations like these as we continue with our Maker of the Week series. And Ashley, we just want to thank you so much again for joining us on this Saturday on your weekend. And we're excited to see more of the awesome things that you're up to and that your workshop is doing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. You guys are awesome.